Live from beautiful Ohio, it's the OK Boomer podcast featuring siblings, the real Jean and Laura.
Hello. I'm Jean.
And I'm Laura. And we are here to encourage all you boomers, millennials, and everyone to be happily okay together. Jean, before we begin, we want to join and connect with each of you during these times. The best message we know to do that is to share the gospel. And in particular, we really like to lean on hymns and praise songs. What is a good hymn that you like to rely on during these times?
Well, here's my favorite, Laura, and join in on the chorus if you want.
I might.
When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul.
With my soul.
It is well. It is well with my soul. What's yours, Laura? What's your favorite hymn?
I have always liked, and I first loved this hymn when I was going through some pretty tough times many, many, many years ago. And my Bible study leader, we would sing this, and my faith has found a resting place. And the words are just wonderful, but I'm going to just try to sing the chorus, which is, I need no other argument, I need no other plea. It is enough that Jesus died, and that he died for me. And to me, that is really what it's all about.
And we just want to say, God bless each one of you, all of us.
Yes, God bless us, everyone. Well, how has your week been?
It's been fine. You and I talked our way through some of the things that were challenging us, but I would have to say the weather here at the lake has been just so lovely. No complaints about the weather, and I had a busy, wonderful about 10 days where people came and went and different family members came. I loved all that.
Oh, that's fun. And when we say we've had many days of good weather, this is big for us here in Ohio. We don't always get to say that, so we're very thankful.
It has been a beautiful Ohio. One thing, sort of harking back to our prior episode, we talked about grilled cheese. Do you remember that, Laura? The grilled cheese episodes?
Love those.
I was talking with my older son and asked him if he had heard of that idea of a grilled cheese movie, like a comfort movie you can count on. And we talked about that, and then we got into chili. That probably the next most wonderful, versatile dish there is chili. Like we said, you could do so many things with grilled cheese. Same thing with chili.
We
just had so much fun exchanging ideas. Of course, there's chili, and then you can put chili over baked potato. That's my favorite. Chili over cornbread. Add different spices and different kinds of meats. My son likes to put it with spaghetti.
Yes. Now I think that's kind of a Cincinnati tradition.
I believe it is, which is also in Ohio, Cincinnati. Oh, we just had fun. I thought that's what's the good thing about life, just being able to talk together, chat, have a fun topic. And then it reminded me of something else, and so I sort of want to ask you this.
Yeah.
I don't know if you are a fan of Chipotle.
My kids always got on me about how I say Chipotle. Is it Chipotle?
Well, this is my question for you. Remember, first of all, right, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. And remember, there was a time when they first opened up, no one knew how to pronounce it.
True.
I mean, we just didn't know how to say it.
A lot of people said Chipotle. I might have
Right.
been one of them.
I might have too. There's too many L's, but so you say it. I say Chipotle. You say
I say Chipotle.
tomato.
Tomato. Exactly.
Good. Well, how was your week?
The Chipotle is good. Now you have me like very hungry for chili or Chipotle. I'm good. I'm a very, very, very busy week. Couple
Very,
things.
very, very.
Yeah, there were a lot of varies there, which leads me somewhat to saying apparently when I text, I did not know this about myself as a boomer. Apparently, when I text, I tend to do a lot of, I think I say it on the podcast, ... So one of my more intelligent millennials mentioned to me the other day and said, why do you use multiple ellipses?
Oh, ellipses. Would you mind giving an example? It might be hard, but so you do a sentence and then you do ... and then you continue with another sentence?
Yes, like maybe I haven't heard from you for a while, ... And they said it's almost like you're planning something horrible when you put the ... like I'm going to come out and track you down and just ... They were like, why do you always have to do that ... But I was impressed they knew the word ellipsis.
Ellipsis. Now that is another word that could be a little tricky to pronounce.
Yes, ellipsis and plural is ellipsis, Greek for falling short. So there you go.
Oh my! I love this. Greek for what?
Falling short. So you want to say the word, instead you just put in the 3 dots and it comes from you've fallen short with what you were going to say.
Doesn't this also relate to, oh, this is getting interesting. Doesn't this also relate to, I have the habit, and you may have too, of we start sentences and then we just kind of fade away. Didn't we talk about that?
All the time. Sentence fragments all the time. If there was one thing that would be on my tombstone, it would be she could never finish a sentence. ... We have to have the ellipsis. I love that word. Last time it was lozenge. I love ellipsis. So anyway, moving on.
Oh, I guess we have to move on, but that was so much fun. Yes, moving on.
Yes, no problem. Guess, well, I think I alluded to, maybe I didn't, what I did the last 6 days. 6 days.
And then you rested 6 days.
And rested on the 7th.
Right. So you were creating something, I guess.
We were water pressuring. Darn. I said it again. I keep saying water pressuring all the time. I said this to my OH husband. We restained our deck and we had to pressure wash it first, but I keep saying water pressuring. I don't know why.
Continue, Laura. I can't even speak. Continue.
It's a hard life. It's hard to be this age, but we're managing. So pressure washing is really, I can't say it. It's really hard work. You got to use your arms.
Oh, yes.
I mean, lifting and trying to get those little bird flaps under your arms. I mean, wow. It was a good workout, but we did it.
Yeah. So you pressure washed, and because your deck, you were saying?
Our deck. We completely restained our entire deck, which folks, it's not a tiny deck. And then we celebrated and had 2 of the neighbors over last night.
Great. And your deck had dried already? I take it you're
Oh yeah, we didn't do the floor. We just did all the railings. Still took us 6 days, sorry to say.
Oh my. Well, now that you really made me laugh. Can we move on to our big topic? It's just such a perfect segue. Is it all right now if we move on to the big topic?
Well, we don't want to miss out on a perfect segue, so go for it. ...
All right. Well, we thought, what is the topic that is on pretty much every boomer's mind. Like when you're at a happy hour. When you were young, you talked about probably babies and mortgages.
Yep.
Now you're a retiree, you're talking about, should you downsize? Should you upsize? Or should you just completely try something new?
All the time. We had our little get together with two of the neighbors last night. And
Yeah,
this was a topic. It is always a topic. We're all boomers. We
right?
all have lived here for probably 30 years raising our kids. And now it is the big question, what do we do?
Right. And you want to find something. I mean, we realize we hear that Jaws music. And we know, right, even though now you're only as old as a Barbie doll, even though we're not ancient,
And thanks for saying that. That makes me feel so much younger, even though Barbie just turned 60.
you're
But
the
but
same
I
age as
feel like
Barbie.
I'm the same age as Barbie, so I'm good to go. Yes.
Right. But we're getting closer to the end of the rope than we were before. Like I said, that Jaws music, every so often I hear it.
What does that mean, Jean?
Well, you want to, like, what it means right now, I'm fine. I love my house.
Yes.
Everything's fine, but is this the house can I be in this house when I'm 80? And even though you say, oh, 80 is such a long time, it's actually really not.
Yeah. Bum, 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 bum,
Oh,
bum,
and
bum.
thinking about our own dear mother, I'm not sure she timed it as well as she wanted. She maybe could have made some changes that would have helped her a little earlier.
Possibly.
Possibly. So I was thinking, and I have been talking to my OH about, well, what should we do? Downsize, upsize, just totally change? And it really, I think, partly depends on what you want to do with retirement. Do you want to travel? Do you want to visit grandchildren? Do you want to have family come? Do you want to be where it's warm? Do you want to be where it's cold? This is all swirling through my head. So, what say you? Where are
Oh.
you? You're living right now, and you said you're happy. You've got new stained deck, and how's it? How do you like your current situation?
Well, let me tell you, and this is often an OH and we discuss this a lot when we're
Right.
taking our walks. Right now, and I'm blessed to be in a neighborhood where all the families that I just know and love, we are all still here. We are
Yes.
all still in the same boat. We've all lived here about 30 years. We have our nice big family homes, and it's where all our children were raised and grew up. So we're all in this together. And I was saying last night we had this small little get together with the two neighbors, and I asked them the same question. The one has bought a lovely second home down in Georgia, and they love it. They plan to be there a lot of the winter, but they still want to keep their home and stay here in the summer because we're in beautiful Ohio. The other couple said, nope, they love their house. They love the garden. That is what they do. They have no plans to move. And for us, I think I'm somewhat like the neighbor. We have decided. I mean, now we stained our deck. We got to stay.
Right. And you've done some nice
We
remodels.
have done some projects, and we're actually looking at building another garage, and we need more space, believe it or not, which is ridiculous.
I hear you, Laura. You only need to take a little stroll through my basement or my garage to see how could we ever move. But is it going to get any easier 10 years from now to go through everything and try to move then? And we just got a 50-year-old roof. I mean, a roof that's good for 50 years. It's a brand new roof. Good for 50 years. I want to get
Wow, you're living with a 50-year-old roof. No, I know what you mean. And yes, I mean our roof that we got a year ago, good for 30 years. So they're right.
we've got our roofs, and I've got I'm kind of fortunate, I believe, in that I have the first floor master. So basically, we live in our bedroom, our TV area, and our kitchen. The upstairs, we don't use at all. Partly, I suppose, mostly because our kids live in town, so they're not coming to stay for us. Now, is that one reason why you'd be keeping your house? You want to have room for your family?
Yes, we really do. I mean, I live in this wonderful boomer fantasy world that someday all 5 children are going to be home at the same time for the holidays and we will all be together. And each child has their own room, couples now. And I long for those days and I love it when they come home. Our one couple is coming in from Chicago tomorrow, and I mean, we're so excited about that. And they have their own room. This is the one who's now expecting. So I just love having space for each of our children when they come home. Now, I asked all of them, like, how do you feel about it? Do you want to be able to come home to the home you were raised in? Or would you be okay if we downsized? And let me tell you,
Yeah.
every child pretty much said just a very sweet answer of, it's up to you guys, which really didn't help me at all.
It does. It is very sweet. So that sounds like maybe right. They don't care. It'd be fine either way.
I think they would, but I think it's mostly us. I mean, like I was saying, we're building another garage because we currently have a big storage unit to store all the stuff we have. And oh dear, it's just bottom line, we should get rid of things. But I think we're just going to stay in this house for as long as we can move.
All right. So that's your decision. Someone else I know came up with a slightly different decision. It's actually one my family might like. They are building a family compound, and both my kids have mentioned to me they'd like to do this, that we get a big piece of land and we each have our house, and there'd be room for the people who wanted to raise chickens to have chickens, and the people who wanted to have a big barn to have a big barn, and we'd all be there. And
Really?
yes, they would really
Together?
like to do
You
it.
don't think this would be too close?
No, we'd have different houses
Right.
spread out. I
Right.
suppose it is a fantasy, but it could be nice. And then if one of us were, alone, say
Incapacitated?
or just alone in our,
All
years,
right. All
right?
right.
It'd be nice to be that close to family. To me, it sounds like more fun than moving to the villages.
Oh, the villages. Have you ever driven through there?
No, I know I should, and everybody I talk to just loves it. But to me, it seems like you would have to be just wildly extroverted to live there. That if you didn't want to do all kinds of activities, which are wonderful to have every activity you could ever want to do, if you didn't want to do that and do happy hours and go to every dance and party they have, I think you'd really be an oddball. Because maybe I'm already an oddball. So I'm not sure about the villages. I like the family compound idea, but I realize that's kind of a dream. Now, another dream that
Yeah.
another couple I know did is they, probably at least 5 years ago, bought a trawler and outfitted it to be a houseboat.
A
And
trawler?
yeah,
Not a
and
trolley. You didn't say trolley. Choo choo.
no, no trawler
A
as a
trawl,
houseboat.
like a fishing trawler.
Yes, but it's
Okay.
big, and they were able to outfit it as a houseboat. Very nice. I've seen it. I've visited it. So that's really downsizing. You're downsizing your own little personal living space, but you're really upsizing everything you can do because they spend time. They call themselves loopers. There's a real thing. Loopers.
Loopers?
They are one of the loopers because they follow the Great Loop, the Great Circle Loop, which goes from Mississippi River to the Gulf of Mexico, all the way around Florida, then up the intercoastal till you get to the St. Lawrence Seaway. And you can just keep going around and around. I always hoped they would come through the Great Lakes so I could actually see them coming through, but they've more gone up the coast to Maine. And apparently, people who do this, some of the people they've met, because that's another thing. Every time you dock in a marina along the way, you can visit other people's boats and chat, and that does sound like fun. But some of the people who are loopers have kept their what they call dirt houses. That's their house back home on dirt. Now they're in their water house. So some people keep their dirt houses. Some people just sell it and live on the boats.
Wow, this is fascinating, Jean. Loopers.
Right. So I don't know if I want to do that either. I think that was brave of them, but they've been to lots of beautiful places, and they're really on their own time. If they want to stay at a marina a while, they can stay. Otherwise, you could just keep going along, seeing the sights. I think they even, at Christmas time a couple years ago, went over to Bermuda because it's not that far from Florida.
Oh, that would be interesting.
Which is brave. Yeah, so there's so many options. Right.
This appeals to me.
Oh, you would do that?
I don't know. It kind of appeals to me, but I think I would keep my dirt house, as it were.
Right. How about Winnebago? You could do the same thing like with a Winnebago, not on water, but you could.
Yeah, well, the OH and I have said it would be really nice right now in these COVID days to have some type of RV, Winnebago, to be able to drive around to see everyone, because I don't want to use the bathrooms along the way.
Exactly. So, you really want to have a porta potty behind you, don't you?
I do. We love our road trips and visiting our kids, but I'm a little leery about hotels still. And it's the bathrooms. I want my own bathroom.
Right. So actually, you gave me a good idea. Let's talk about road trips next time. All right. Maybe that's what you and I really want to do in our retirement. Have our home base where we feel
our dirt house, as it were.
Have our dirt house where I can be like quiet and alone and just read my books and be not participating in square dances. Then every so often we go out. And I promise, if you let me stay in my home a while longer, I promise I will clean out the basement.
The basement. And this is what the neighbors and I were saying last night. We cannot move because we all have so much clutter. We would rather stain decks and keep our houses going than go through our clutter.
I know, and we don't want to leave it for our kids to go through. We've done that. Well, much to think about, Laura.
A lot to think about. Now,
any final thoughts? Or I guess you would actually know the reality. What's it like to sell a house now? What's it like to downsize?
Well, let me tell you, because I'm seeing this more and more interestingly, or I find it interesting, in the real estate world for the first time, bum, that millennials and boomers actually agree on something, and that is they all want to downsize to the same type of house, which is the ranch.
Oh, ranch.
You and I grew up in a ranch, your basic 3-bedroom, 1.5-bath ranch. No offense, when I was able to buy my own house, for the family home, I really wanted the big 2-story fabulous home.
Okay.
And that's what I think a lot of our friends wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So now we all are in our neighborhood, not all, but who I know, I was fortunate enough to have the nice 2-story family home. But now to downsize, they're seeing that there's going to be a glut in the next 5 to 10 years of all our bigger homes that the millennials don't want. 30 years ago, when our parents were downsizing, we took their bigger homes. We bought bigger homes.
Okay.
Today's world, this newer generation of home buyers, which they're saying in the next 5 years, 50%, over half of the millennials will be buying their home.
I suppose.
Their so-called home to raise their family. However, they don't want the big home, they want the ranch. We, as boomers, own 32 million homes here in the United States, which is 2 out of every 5 houses. Boomers own 40% of the real estate market.
Wow.
However, when we all go to sell, what are we wanting to go to? Smaller homes. A lot
So
of people
you're
don't want to
saying,
necessarily go to an apartment or a this. We're all competing for the same ranch home, and it's called a major mismatch coming up in the market.
major mismatch. Hello.
Yeah, kind of like a mashup where they put songs together. Major
Major
mishmash.
Well, this is funny because as you were talking, I was thinking, well, maybe we could just like cut the top half off our big houses, and it would turn into a ranch. And just this past week, I read about someone who's building modular homes like that, where you could buy a one box if you want a one full story home. You could buy two boxes, you could buy three boxes, and they'll just keep stacking them up. So you could stack them up during the years when you want the big house, and then unstack them when you want the little house. You see, your
Oh, this
problems
is,
are. I've solved your problem.
you have right there, modular stackable homes. How fun would that be? That would
Right.
be so fun.
So, all right. Any more thoughts? Because I want to have time to squeeze in a teeny bit about books. You know me and books.
Yes, you are a good book reader and you love books and you write books. So I think I'm done
And
with
anything. So we're gonna stay. They call it aging in place. We're gonna age in place, which sounds like steaks, but it just means we're gonna try to keep staying in our houses and make them work for us as we get older. So, as we age in place, you might want
which
to read
sounds
books.
awful, Jean. I don't
Yeah.
love the term
All
aging.
right.
So we're just staying in place.
Okay. So something you could do would be to read books, and I have a little challenge for you because I've noticed in recent years you're a reluctant reader.
Me? Yep.
Yeah.
I am a reluctant reader. I really am.
So here's a little challenge. I kind of like it. It's to read books, not just read diverse books, but diverse in the way of thinking about reading books in that take place or were written by authors from other countries. So that's a little
Oh,
challenge I'm going to be doing, to read some different experiences, but do it by country. And if you could find lists there's authors, of course, all over. Now, I mean, they have to be translated into English, naturally.
I was
I
going to say,
don't
I'm going to be
expect it.
impressed with you reading Japanese. And
Right. But I thought, well, that was a good challenge. And recently I read a book by an author from Japan, really kind of a crazy book, but I'm glad I read it. So I will keep you posted on that. I'm going to get a list of books from different countries, and that's kind of another way for me to travel. I can stay quietly in my little home, and I could be an armchair traveler.
in your little modular cube, traveling
Yeah,
the world with
right.
your books.
Yeah, great.
Well,
And I
good
think
for
you had
you.
one more fun thing to share with us before it's time for us to say goodbye.
I did. Perhaps I did. But Jean, that was maybe 20 minutes ago and it's out of my brain.
You were
If
going to
I
share, you had some fun statistics about who's listening to our podcast.
Oh, yes, and what a thought that you're talking about countries. What a trigger that in my brain. They
You missed
say
the
that.
segue. She missed the segue.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
totally missed the segue, but here we go. I was looking over our stats, and I'm hoping these are realistic and true. No need to think they're not. Did you know? I find this very exciting. I'm on
Yeah.
pins and needles about it. Just thrilled. We have listeners in, drumroll, the United Kingdom. Thank
Yes.
you, everybody out there. A few in Germany, a few in France, and Malta, which isn't
Wow.
that cool island like in southern
Near,
Europe
right, near
near Italy?
Italy. Right.
Yes.
I
I
know.
find that
So,
so dreamy and romantic that we have somebody listening in Malta. So thank
hello.
you to
Oh,
every listener. We appreciate all of you.
yes, yes. And I love comments that I get from people. So, your turn, Laura. It's always your turn. I make it be your turn. Tell all the things of how people can find us.
Oh, don't make me do this. I actually had it all written down, but it's in another section of the house, which of course I'll never be able to find it. But I think we
Yes.
can find us at okboomer.com. Simple, everything is there. Or
OKBoomerPod.com. Did you say that?
Yeah, no, I didn't say that. OKBoomerPod.com.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tough life. And OK_BoomerPod on Twitter and Instagram, correct?
Yes. Yes, so we'd love to hear
And then
from
we
you.
also have, don't we have contact at OKBoomerPod.com?
Yes, right. And you could still get the pretzel salad recipe if you write
Oh,
Laura.
that's right. That's
If
right.
you write Laura, you can still get that.
Which I'm making tomorrow, by the way.
Oh, yum. And
Yep.
we try to post on Instagram and Twitter and our own personal Facebooks like every day. They either tell you about an episode or something zany we've thought of, or just to keep in touch, because I love to read the comments.
Oh, we do. You never know what you'll see, from turtles to bandanas to donuts.
Cream
You never
sticks,
know.
right.
To vacuum cleaners. You never know.
Oh, yeah. So we love all of you. Laura, you have a wonderful, wonderful week, and many thanks to Pat.
Yes, thank you, Pat, at Speak Up Talk Radio. Thank you. All right, have a great week.
Love you. Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.
Be sure to come back to beautiful Ohio and the OK Boomer podcast. To listen to previous episodes or to drop us a line, visit okboomerpod.com.